Hello, everyone. Today we have Emily with us. She's still in the program, but she's doing so fantastic, and she was very nice to agree to come here and share her experience. So you people understand a bit more how we coach and how the program looks like, especially hearing that from a person who is in the midst of everything. So, Emily, if you can just introduce yourself, telling where you're from and a little bit about yourself, that would be awesome.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So my name's Emily Joyce, and I am a PhD student at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. And so I study um, topics related to like climate change. So I study air pollution and water pollution. That's what I do all the time. I love school. And yeah, I don't remember what else you said to talk about.
Just an introduction. So,
Okay.
yeah, PhD student, obviously, you have a lot on your plate. And it's very interesting, thing. Obviously, you're studying air pollution, water pollution, environment, climate change. It's very, very related to being a vegan, right?
Mhm.
So let's start straight there. Like, did you choose this profession, future profession, and at the same time you kind of became vegan, or are they related at all?
Yeah, they are related. So, I chose this profession because when I was an undergrad, I did some research and I thought it was really cool. That's why I started.
It
And
is.
then when I got here, I was like, wow, this is so important. And so that's where it stemmed from. And then because I'm in an environmental science like department, everyone around me is like vegetarian or vegan. So I started to learn a lot from them. And then yeah, watching documentaries is what really got me because I think a lot of us know, like in the back of our head, it's the best thing to do, but sometimes you have to have it like forced in your face. So I had it forced in my face with people at school and then documentaries. So then that's how that part of my lifestyle came.
Yes, and it's so interesting what you just said, that almost all the students are even vegan or vegetarian. Obviously, it's not a coincidence. So,
Yeah.
from a bit more professional point of view, can you just, I don't know, share a few, I don't know, if you have something on top of your head, some data, or just in general, some examples how veganism perhaps can help to fight air and water pollution?
Yeah, it helps in a lot of ways. So obviously just with like a lot of the pollutants we study are like methane, if you've heard of that, and methane is heavily released from cows. And so having all these farms, we have a lot more pollution in our air, and that's really toxic for our health. And so when we breathe that in, it can go straight into our lungs um, and cause a lot of damage. But then also like cows, just to have their livelihood, they have to take like I don't remember the exact number, but you probably know, but so much water. So
Yeah.
they're taking like the majority of the water that's being used. We're running out of water. So I think, yeah, these are the kind of discussions that we talk about in my department.
Yes, and I just think it's so important. Obviously, you as studying, climate change and environment issues, you are being presented with the data and with the reality, what's happening. A lot of people have just, clouded goggles, pretending
Yeah.
they don't see it, or they actually do not see it, and they, just go to the shop and they do not associate that nicely wrapped piece of chicken or steak, where it comes from and what it does to our health, to our planet, to water, to air. So yeah, I think it's just very important for people to understand that it's time to educate yourself, right? Like you say, now we have so many documentaries, so much information out there. All we have to do, just do our own work and research. Would you agree?
100%, I agree. Yes, I think it's so important because I think these little things that we don't think about, like little decisions we make, just like blow up. Like I said, it can hurt your lungs, it can hurt the water. absorbs sunlight, so the world gets hotter, we get more storms then, and then there's droughts in places and more wildfires. Like it all spans from like one thing. So like doing a little bit actually does a lot, which is why everyone in my department does what they can.
Yes, and it's such a good point. I think a lot of times people say, "Oh, only me would change. I'm just one small piece in this world. If I do something, on my day-to-day basis, it's not going to change the world." But it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah, it
think if
does.
we one small thing every day, it really, really helps, not just to us, but future generations, your future kids and things like that. So yes, it's very, very important to understand. So I'm just very curious, in your where you study in your university, do you do something to kind of educate outside people? Do you have any projects, programs, how to, because you have access to all that data, but do you do something to share that and help people to see the reality?
Yeah, we try. So we have a lot of conferences that we go to, that some are academic and then some are just, there was a conference, well, it wasn't a conference. My friend got to go to Colorado, and her research is in Colorado, and she just went and talked at a bar and just like did her research very like in simple terms, tried to do simple terms, and just explain it to whoever was at the bar that night for like their open mic night. So we try to do
Ah,
things like that. I teach at an elementary school and try to share my research there in ways that they can learn in their science classes. And so we try to do different organizations. A lot of the work I do here is for this large estuary that's in Rhode Island. And so I take what I learn and I go to a lot of the different organizations, like the uh, Department of Transportation and Department of Management. And so we go try to meet with people in policy. So we try, but
well done. No,
it's
that's
hard.
amazing. It's actually quite a random question just popped to my head as we were speaking, and it's just so nice to see that you guys obviously so aware of that. And I love that, that friend of that person, did the whole research presentation in the bar. I think that's
Yeah.
and those people, I just came for a beer.
Yeah.
Yes, but amazing. So thank you for all you do, because we do need to talk about it. So, the word could be spread, and people would be just more aware what's happening. So amazing. And going to your personal journey, Emily, a lot of people come to us, to be honest, not really knowing what they're getting involved in. They just feel like spontaneous decision. Some people suffer for years and they need help, but they don't know exactly what they're getting involved into. But you were a little bit different. When you found us, you really knew that you want to do it, and you were really like, confident to start this, and you already felt like you knew us. So did you do your research, finding us, knowing who we are before getting involved, where that excitement came from even before you started?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I found you on an Instagram ad. It was like one of the ads that went through. And so then it took me to your Facebook page, and I started watching some of your videos, and it just like really connected with exactly how I felt, because I was living this like life where I'm trying to do what I can for the environment. And I went vegan in July, so I was trying to be healthier to help animals and the environment. I lost a bunch of weight, lost like 20 pounds when I went vegan. And so I was doing what I could, but I just still didn't feel good. And then in your videos, you talked about how, like, in order to feel good, you have to fix like the inside of you, and you really have to change from the inside out. And I was like, that's what I need. And so that was like a huge part for me. Which is why
Amazing.
I jumped
So
in.
yeah, it's so important to be on the same page, right? With any person or people or community we work with, we have to share same or similar beliefs. And that was very obvious that we were on the same page. And that's why you're thriving, like you're still in the midst of a program and you already achieved so much. So let's talk about that. I do believe first, and I think the most important thing to talk with you is about food. I believe that your situation is so unique because you will explain more in a minute. But from my point of view, it was almost like you were relearning how to walk, and relating to food, you were relearning everything, what nutrition is, what healthy eating is. So tell us, how did you grow up, and why and when you understood that, oh, I need to change something.
Yeah, so I grew up eating not healthy at all. So we had like pasta every night, or we'd have my mom grew up on a farm, and so we had like steak or something. And we had dessert constantly, and the only like vegetables we had, reflected on when I joined this program was like corn and green beans from a can. So that's what I thought like vegetables were. Um, and so yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. And then when I went vegan, I really wanted to do that. A huge part was because of animals, and so I was like happy with my decision because I was doing it for the reasons I felt were important. But then I was eating only the processed stuff, so I was just going to the frozen section and getting whatever they had, like vegan chicken nuggets, vegan burger, like anything. I just ate only that, and so I did that from July until I started this program, which was, I don't remember, like January maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so it was a long time to eat that way and not feel good. So, yeah, so nutrition was really important to me. I know, like, learning in school and watching these documentaries, how important it is to eat like a whole foods plant-based diet, but
Yeah.
I just had no idea what that meant, to be honest.
Yes. And do you know now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Amazing.
I think it sounds like you might talk about this, but the community in this is amazing because there was already like when you work with you, you get to have a nutritionist that you can talk to. So that was really helpful having Jana and then you and Scott. But then when it started getting like frustrating to me because I just never cooked anything that took more than 5 minutes in like a microwave, I just like made a video to all the women in this program, and they all just gave me all these recipes, all these tips, and it's just incredible. And now the longest meal I ever make is like 20 minutes, and they're all really healthy. So
Yeah, same. We're all busy. And yes, of course, it's nice to take sometimes a bit longer and to make something different. There's nothing obviously wrong with that. But on a day-to-day basis, I think it's important to understand that vegan meals, they don't have to be overcomplicated. I think especially if any new vegans are watching and they think, oh my God, I have to have all these weird different ingredients I cannot find and take hour or two cooking and preparing. It's not true, right?
yeah,
Eating plant-based vegan, it could be very easy. And to be honest, there's so many more things to choose from, like variety of different vegetables and pulses and legumes. We can just like throw things together in, like you say, 10-20 minutes and everything is done. So yeah, I think it's very important to understand that going vegan, it doesn't mean that you have to become a chef.
yes, I thought that when
Yeah.
when I started this program, I was like, well, at least it'll make me do it. And then, yeah, I still couldn't keep up with it. And then everyone was like, you don't have to do that. I
Yeah.
like put it on myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of misconception, right? Because you were kind of relearning everything from scratch, and you were like following this like a proper put together meal plan, which is great. But for a person who is still quite new, understanding, how to cook, after a week or so, like you said, it was like, okay, I do not have hour, every day to
Yeah.
prepare my every meal, and then you realize you don't have to. So that was, I think, just very nice realization and a learning curve. So, of course, like you said, you went vegan mostly for animals and environment. But now you learn that obviously it can be very helpful. Then we eat not processed vegan junk food, but actual whole foods. It really helps with the health as well, right?
I feel completely different. Like if I try to eat that one day, yeah, I have like no energy or I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel completely different just with
absolutely.
starting.
Because you, before just eating vegan junk food, you didn't get, adequate amount of essentials and nutrients and antioxidants and everything what the body needs. So of course, it's a big change.
Yeah.
And I remember another great thing you shared with us, because your parents were coming to visit you and you were quite scared because you didn't know, because they are not vegan, you were scared how to cook, how to talk with them, that you want to cook for yourself and you do not want to eat something they do. And I think you were very surprised how it turned out.
Oh, yes, it was amazing. I was scared because, I saw them one time when I first went vegan, but like I said, I was just getting out like all these frozen things and they were like, "What are you eating?" So they weren't interested at all. So then finally they were able to come now that, they were able to get the vaccine so they could come see me. And I was so nervous because I was like, they're gonna want to eat their own foods, and I don't want all that food here and stuff. Um, yeah, and then you encouraged me to just make like the dishes I already make, and share with them. And so I did. I made like really delicious meals that take like no time. I made vegan fried rice and mushroom stroganoff and fun dishes too that were like cinnamon roll pancakes, which I
Mhm.
highly recommend for anyone. They're delicious.
Yes.
And so I made like fun things and like really good meals. They were all so delicious and they loved it. And so now they're incorporating them at their house, which is just amazing.
Incredible. It's like we always talk about the ripple effect, right? It's like if we take care of ourselves and we thrive, our loved ones want a piece of that and they do notice and actually they start trying as well. And it's so nice to see that someone who never thought would even know how to cook or what to cook impressed your parents and they even taking recipes from you. And it just shows that when we are being guided, when we have a structure and we have a support, the change can happen pretty fast, right? Like in about a month time, you already knew how to cook and how to nourish yourself. Yes, you had a lot of guidance, but I think it's most important just to be focused that that's what you want to do, and you can learn actually quite fast. So yeah, super nice to hear. Yes, another thing you mentioned, which I want to come back to, is community. Like you said, community and our client family, like we call it, is really powerful environment to be in. It's not just working with coaches, but actually being alongside other women who going through very similar journeys, right? And I remember that you were very surprised how by being vulnerable and opening up, and while feeling, of course, safe to do that, because that's safe environment to be open, that uncovered something very important to you. And I think you said you shared some trauma you experienced in the past, which you never ever talked about with anyone. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. So community is amazing. Everyone is just so supportive and there's so many different parts that you just don't even realize when you join. So there's like tapping meditation and there's calls with Jana, I'm the nutritionist. We just did a stress call. And there's book clubs and all these things that yeah, I had no idea. Yoga sessions with charity and all of them are so helpful. And there's these sisterhood hours that Claire created, which was one of the clients who's incredible. And it's just a safe space that we all just talk about what's going on in our lives. And I felt so comfortable and like compelled to tell a story that happened to me. And yeah, everyone was like amazing. Like some of the women cried with me. Like it was just like incredible. I never thought that this program had anything to do with that. And now that's like one of the most important parts for me. And I to never miss because you just get so much out of just listening to other women and like being empowered by each other.
Yeah, it's a healing practice, right? Because it's like a therapy. You just get to talk openly with people who are supportive about what's really happening, not like a highlight really presenting of your life, but actually going into the real root causes, of everything. And I think it's the most important thing we can do. We can't focus just on workouts or just on foods if we want overall wellness transformation, not even transformation, just living healthily and thriving on a plant-based nutrition and just really loving ourselves and loving life. So like you said, you didn't expect that that was part of a program, but from our point of view, it cannot not be part of a program because
I get that now.
we are wellness coaches and wellness has all these different components. And if we are not all together working in unison, in union, then, nothing will stay and nothing will be sustainable. And we are here for lifestyle change, for sustainability, not any kind of quick fix. So really happy that you got the chance to experience that healing power of community and healing power of diving deep into all areas of wellness. So can you just share what perhaps was the most helpful or surprising for you so far in the program?
I think the most surprising part of this program was the community aspect for me. Like I was just saying, just because I had talked to you beforehand about how I would get structured workouts and like I can have a nutrition plan, but I had no idea how everyone else was gonna like love on me, care for me too. I had no idea, and that they'd want to hear about my week each week. Like we share how our week went, the highs and lows, and like what we're looking forward to, um, and the people, like the women, actually care and like respond to your videos, and yeah, it's just I had no idea about that part, and I think I also didn't realize how um, amazing you and Scott are. Like, I knew
Oh,
that you were
thank
great from your videos, but, like, I can just share, like, that I did good on an exam or something, and you are, like, the best cheerleaders for
you. Thank you.
like, whether it's big or small, related to this program, not related to this program. Like, I just told you a huge thing that happened in my life, and you sent me, like, a long video, and yeah, it's just amazing. All those
Thank,
parts, I think, is what makes this so special.
Thank you, Emily. And you say related to the program or not related to the program. The thing is that everything is related
That's true.
because, again, it's wellness. The way you feel, the way the upcoming exam makes you feel will affect the way you eat, will affect the way you sleep, will affect the way you think of yourself. So, of course, we have to talk about it and we have addressed that, even to cheer you on or actually have like a deep conversation, seeing what's triggering you, what's stressing you, because that's all part of wellness.
Yeah.
So it's very important to talk about things and all the things, and we truly care. We really care because
Really care. Yeah.
yeah, for us, yes, it's business, but to be honest, that's just secondary. It's just a byproduct of our passion and our mission to help women thrive and, really love themselves again. So that's the mission first, and that's why we really care. Thank you, Emily, for sharing all this information. And maybe last thing, if someone thinks about joining the program or trying this thing called coaching, and maybe, I don't know, a bit scared or apprehensive, what would you suggest?
Oh, I suggest you just do it. I mean, watch the videos and you'll see how much they truly care about you and your well-being. I mean, just the fact, I think that's one thing that like made me feel safe joining was just that you were willing to give all those hours every like Monday and Thursday and every day in between. Like if anyone joins your giant Facebook group, like you just respond to what they say and you want them to introduce themselves and you make all these videos for them. And so it was just very clear that this means a lot to you. And so that made me feel comfortable. And then, yeah, I think you just have to do it because there's just all these aspects. Like if you think you're struggling with nutrition, like I thought, you're struggling with like dealing with traumas. Like it's like there's so much to like unpack that you just don't know and that no other program is going to offer to you because it's like or that I've ever heard of because most are like it's just fitness or it's just fitness and nutrition or Yeah, it's just amazing.
Thank you, Emily. Well, we're very happy to have you as part of our family. Obviously, you not just receiving support, you are a great cheerleader to other women as well. So thank you for being awesome.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you for sharing your story. So if anyone has any question, I guess it's safe to say they can reach out to you privately, right?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime.
Amazing. So thank you again, Emily, and speaker
Thank you.
soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.